that is often celebrated at India's expense. It's happened in recent times on a couple of occasions now. Those are days as Indian cricket fans you don't want to be thinking about. Both those dates came in fact in the year 2023. You want to be forgetting all those moments as well. But guess what? It's the same opponent India will be faced with. It's that seminal thorn in India's flesh all over again as far as the qualification scenario this time is concerned. But for once, India go into the match with a slight edge in terms of confidence, because under the pump will be the Australian side when the two teams, India and Australia, meet tomorrow in St Lucia.
Cross Islet, yep, St Lucia. But firstly, before we come to the nitty-gritties of it all, apologies for being 10 minutes late. Yep, 10 minutes late. We are still operating on Antigua Standard Time, not Delhi Standard Time. There was coordination, there was all the planning.
Wouldn't you admit why we got late?
Of course, that's
Wasn't
what I'm
it
saying.
because of you?
No, it was because of you.
No.
Your department, my friend.
Your department.
I am still a newcomer here.
Yeah, that's why newcomers take the team down.
No. I say yes to almost everything, but that doesn't mean I'm a yes man. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is why this has happened. We were coordinating with what was happening in Antigua and
There was some rain, by the way, there. And guess
heavy
what?
rain.
There was heavy rain
And
over
that's
there.
where I think Nikhil had to do a TV show.
In pouring rain.
Yes.
In the pouring rain, he had to move.
Wasn't easy for him.
Yeah, into there was thankfully a shed close by,
Yes.
which is where he had to then walk. But this is what things when they aren't in your control and when they have to go wrong, they will find a way of going wrong. Because the moment that we got done with the TV show, just 5 minutes after that, he said, "It's clear skies, Harshit. I can't even tell you how bright it is now." but
anyway, rain in Antigua means bad news for the West Indies, because South Africa versus West Indies is happening in Antigua.
And South Africa are ahead in the number of wins in comparison to West Indies.
They have not lost.
Yeah, they have not
India
lost.
and South Africa are the only two unbeaten teams in the T20 World Cup 2024 so far. Australia were in that list, but they lost to Afghanistan by 21 runs.
So last year, Glenn Maxwell silenced the Afghanistan crowd and the team. This year, Pat Cummins almost silenced the Afghanistan fans
Mitchell
with that
Marsh.
hat trick.
Oh yeah. Second back
And then
to
Glenn
back.
Maxwell was once again, on the verge of, pulling off another magnificent win for Australia. But then, who saved them? The muscle man.
Gulbadin Naib, 4 wickets, high quality wickets, and I've done a couple of videos on what are the factors that Naveen Ulak, see, he did it, he's done it for the second time in Australia.
Yeah.
He did it in the Mumbai match also.
I
he
must
did
say
it
that was some inspired bowling.
Naveen is more of a big match player. He did it against England too in the 2023 World Cup. Got the better of Josh Butler and a couple of their key players.
Yep. I think when Ramanullah Gurbaz is behind the wickets, I think Travis Head just doesn't. Because he's gotten out for a duck in all.
In 4 or 5 matches, yes, including the IPL final.
Yep. So that is why get Gurbaz behind the wicket and Travis Head doesn't fire. But then, jokes aside, Afghanistan played with greater purpose. Australia had a big misjudgment, and that is why now, looking at the points table, the equation is pretty simple. India beat Australia. They not only top the group, maybe they could face England in Providence, Guyana.
Yeah.
That's the second semi-final. If India lose, they could have a South Africa moment. One loss and they're eliminated. But that happening is slightly more difficult, because India has to first lose by 41 runs or more versus Australia. And Afghanistan must beat Bangladesh by 83 runs. Then and only then, this 124 run margin combined will knock India out. That is the reason why India can have a South Africa moment of 2007 and 2021. But it looks highly unlikely. Australia lose to India, game over.
Pretty much.
Assuming
if Australia lose to India, then they would have to hope that Bangladesh defeat Afghanistan. Then Australia more than likely will qualify for semi-finals on the account of a better net run rate.
Yep, so they will take on either South Africa or England, depending on what is the result of West Indies, South Africa.
Is there any chances in the Afghan and Bangladesh matches of rain?
Where is the venue that they're going to play in? We'll have to check that. I think it is
Tuesday match, right?
Yeah, I think it is
Tuesday
happening
morning.
in. Is it happening in Arnesville?
Yeah, Shivam, let's just check the venue in the schedule.
Yeah, I think if that happens, if there is rain, then if Australia lose, and if it's a washout, then Afghanistan go through.
Yes.
Because they'll be struck on 2 points.
And
Australia
Afghanistan will be
get
ahead
through.
of them in
Yes,
terms of points.
yes.
So they are playing in Arnesville.
Oh,
So it's advantage Afghanistan
Yes.
even before the beginning of that match.
correct.
But
It's happening.
Bangladesh also have a couple of good spinners.
But their batting is woeful.
Oh,
Bangladesh's batting is woeful. That is. I think there is rain expected on Tuesday at Arnesville. There is rain.
If match on draw,
Then, if Australia lose, then Afghanistan go through. That's the way.
I won't accept.
Well, but then chance of rain is also pretty slim, 30%.
so basically now coming to the major point, India have a good chance of spoiling Australia's party.
Golden chance.
India have a good chance to eliminate Australia from the competition.
Okay, so
And
straight.
for the cricket fans or for the Indian cricket fans, will it lessen the pain of what happened on the day that does not even exist?
No. See, that I will tell you one thing. Okay, firstly, the main topic is, will India capture this golden opportunity to knock out the Aussies? And before I answer that, whatever happened on November 19th, even if India beat them, it can't be termed revenge.
I agree.
For one simple thing, format is different, scenario is different, situation is different. If it was India versus Australia June 29th, a modicum of revenge, modicum. But this is a Super 8.
Exactly. The importance of the match also, you see.
Yeah.
To do it in a final, to take that pain in a final and to sort of make up for it in by dumping the same team out, but not in the final of the tournament of a tournament is two different.
If India beat Australia in a Champions Trophy final, kind of.
There's so many forms of revenge that you have to take against the
But your ultimate revenge will be if you beat Australia in a World Cup final in 2027. That is revenge. Revenge has to be situational. These are all called chote mote
We
ladaiyan.
have to take so many revenges, yeah, Siddharth. There's a 2003 ka revenge that is still left. There's
Exactly.
a 2023 ka revenge.
But I think in the bigger context of the T20 World Cup, this game, India versus Australia tomorrow at Gross Islet, St Lucia, holds a lot of importance. Not just, with respect to the qualification scenarios, but it will also test Australia's character and their fitness and the way how they can recoup after losing to Afghanistan in a day-night game on Sunday. Now they'll have to travel to St Lucia from Arnesville. They'll have hardly any time to recover.
It's a day game.
And then on a Monday morning, which is basically, Monday morning from West Indies time, but Monday evening India time, they'll have to face India. So there's hardly any time for them to, just
Rest and recuperate.
correct those mistakes.
You see, this is, I think, only the second day game that Australia will play.
Yeah.
I think all the other games prior to that were all day-nighters
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
Every Australia game,
And India's played all day games.
all day games.
So
All of them.
Oman was day night, England was a day game,
yeah,
and Namibia was also
a night
Siddharth,
game.
what
game.
about the final also day final?
Yeah, it's a day.
yeah, it's at
final.
7:30 p.m.
It's earlier.
Yes. So
Half an hour early, what for?
one thing that really caught my attention was the Australia skipper Mitchell Marsh's comment in the post-match presentation after losing to Afghanistan that we just need to win and there's no better team to do it against.
Yeah, I mean, see, I think I interpret it like, okay, he's called India the best team in this tournament.
Yeah.
If you win against them,
Yeah.
then I think your confidence for the title increases leaps and bounds. Because India and South Africa are the only teams that have been undefeated. But you look at South Africa, they have come out of jail 3 times. Versus Bangladesh, versus Sri Lanka, versus Nepal. So that is why this, and also against England, those 3 bowlers towards the end, only 21 runs were
25
conceded.
of 16 was required. England could have gone past the line.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that is why England, they have gotten out of jail 4 times. But this is a very atypical South Africa campaign. Because they have held their moments in pressure. That itself might be a very...
They've had a 1-run win.
when they needed 30 of 36 the opposition. Nepal. We have to wake up, isn't it, sir?
It's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up. So that is why, looking at the current form, both of the India bowling and of the India middle order batting, I would say that India are in one of the best positions to knock Australia out of the reckoning for the semi-final race.
But are we saying the thing that you just said, it's because, you know, Australia are in a stage where they are actually struggling and on the brink of elimination? Because had, obviously, let's just assume that India and Australia, obviously they are going to face on Monday, but both might have not secured the Super 8, the semi-final qualification. Let's just assume, you know, if that was the case, would you have still put India at the number 1 spot, being the favourites against Australia, or would you have changed your opinion at that time?
I would have changed my opinion, because see, when there is a lot at stake for both teams, then India face big game pressure. Like what happened in Mohali, that India came out of the right side of the result. It is not a Mohali situation.
So you're talking about the 2016 T20 World Cup.
16. It's not a Mohali situation, okay? Here, Australia are facing a lot of odds, like how they did in Ahmedabad. But in Ahmedabad won't happen every single day. Which is why I think somewhere down the line, when you look at big game pressures in the T20 World Cup, India have held their nerve better against Australia. Be it 2007, be it 2014, be it 2016.
But it's 3-2, Siddharth.
It's 3-2. But then see, India have at least got a better head-to-head record in one major ICC event. See, they could have very well lost 2016.
So, are you suggesting that India go in as the team with the slight edge right now?
Yep.
Because, not because what happened to Australia this morning, but because of the scenario that the two teams will now be meeting in. Because it's not a do or die situation for India that much as it is for Australia. Is that what you're suggesting? That it's not a knockout punch that one team can land for the other. India can, but they don't face the same knockout punch.
Yes.
It's because of that?
Yes. Combination of all three. Because see, Australia lost in the night at Arnes Vale.
So all stars are aligning, you're saying?
All stars are aligning because Australia lost in Arnes Vale and that was night. The turnaround time is very little.
Yeah.
And you've seen with Australia, sometimes if they manage to lose one game, they do lose 2-3 on the trot. Momentum goes totally.
Same thing happened in the 2023 World Cup. They lost the opener and then they lost to South Africa.
And that too by a big margin.
Yes.
So, somewhere down the line, Australia are a momentum team. And the worst problem is, if their fielding is not up to the mark, every team makes them pay.
I think throughout the tournament so far, they have dropped more than 10 catches.
Cummins today could have done a Malinga because Warner dropped the catch running in.
4 and 4.
4 and 4. He could have done 4
but
and 4.
But it was ODI World Cup.
No, Malinga has done it even in a T20.
But it's not in the T20 World Cup. In a T20 against New Zealand.
He did 4-4-4 against South Africa in Providence.
Yeah.
He did 4-4-4 against New Zealand in Palakele, but that was a T20.
Yeah.
So he's done it in two different formats. Cummins could have done a 4 and 4, but Warner dropped the catch.
By any which ways, Cummins did, make history by becoming the only bowler to register successive hat tricks
in the T20
format. World Cup.
But he's the third overall.
Okay.
Because Wasim Akram got back-to-back hat tricks in a test match. He got one in Lahore.
That's back-to-back matches.
Jimmy Matthews was the only guy who took hat tricks in the same test match against South Africa and Old Trafford.
Different innings.
Yeah. Hat trick in one innings, hat trick in the other. Okay. So that is the thing. So it is a very interesting thing that Australia are facing. The boot is on the other foot now.
But you know what I think, and maybe this is where my unpopular opinion comes in, I think that's exactly the situations that Australia like. It's exactly the opponent that Australia would like as well, because they're a team that are always out there to make a statement.
Yeah.
They did so in Ahmedabad. They like doing it at big stages. They've done it in the World Test Championship final as well. They are a team that like it when their back is against the wall. And right now Australia do have their backs against the wall. Do they know how to bounce back from such situations? Yes. They do know how to do that. It's a short format, and the beauty of the short format is, look at what Afghanistan have done within 48 hours. Yeah. Crushing defeat, came back stronger.
Yeah.
Do Australia not have the character? Well, you'll be watching a different game if you think Australia don't have the character to bounce back. So that's the beauty. You don't get a lot of time to, let's say, dwell on either on your success or on your failures, given the format that we're looking at right now. Every team's had to play within 48 hours. One day break and you play the next match. That's been the thing. Australia have known this for far too long. So have India, that the two teams, as the script has played out as well, that A1 will meet B2, and it's played out exactly like that. The seedings were set. You knew you were going to face Australia. There have been plans.
Are you sure it's 2 days?
Not in Australia's case.
No, in any, barring India, any team's case.
But India played.
Only India have played consistently at the same time slot.
Afghanistan?
No, Afghanistan also night day.
No, but I'm saying in a space of 48 hours you're playing. One day you're alternating.
Yeah.
England played day after, and they're playing today as well.
But they're not traveling.
That's there. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because see, in the case of Australia, 1.5 hours, 1.5 days, because night and you're already making the turnaround to morning and you're coming.
Yeah.
In the case of Afghanistan, they had slightly longer because they finished the day in Barbados, but they had to play the night at Arniswale. So that is why somewhere down the line, only India is getting a consistent 8 p.m. the day game slot, which is why.
But if I don't know what you're suggesting over here, but India will not have that kind of a buffer or luxury in the second semi-final that they're playing. So not everything is rosy for India also.
See, Providence, Guyana, there is a chance of rain, but we know that there is a 4-hour, 10-minute grace period.
Before we start to lose overs.
Yeah. We are treating this like an ODI. India is not playing a T20 in Guyana. They're playing an ODI in Guyana.
Let's not hope for rain. Let's just, hope for a good match.
We hope so, but then there is rain. There is a rain threat in Providence that day.
But then one point that obviously that we should be talking about is Australia's poor catching. I think this is the first time that we have brought this thing into light that, okay, Australia are not really catching well, dropped more than 10 catches throughout the tournament. What's really gone wrong for them here?
I mean, if I had the answer to that, I would be a scientist at this point in time.
But it hasn't been like, we can say probably the same thing about a Pakistan team. Now, that's been said for over years that their catching is literally very poor.
Yeah.
But it's a bit surprising to see an Australian team that really really feels proud of their catching and really emphasizes on the fact that you really have to field your way into the final of a big tournament or to probably win the title also. But this is something that's definitely gone
where
wrong.
did Australia-Scotland play? Suddenly a eureka moment happened. Where did Australia-Scotland play?
Honest?
Was it St Lucia?
I'm not sure.
This is Arniswale.
Yeah.
If memory serves me right, both Arniswale and St Lucia, the floodlighting is slightly low. And it's like Mohali, if you hit it up in the air, you can't take the catches that well. So Scotland
They played Gross Islet.
St Lucia.
Oh.
That is why now I have finally realized why Australia are dropping so many catches, because both St Lucia and St Vincent, it's not easy to take high catches in the night because the floodlights are lower. And if you look at Gross Islet, there is one more in the middle of the stand. There is one more in the middle of the stand because the lighting system is a bit awry in St Lucia. Yeah, all matches, if you look at it, 7 catches were dropped, if I'm not mistaken, 6 against Scotland and 5 against Afghanistan. Total of 13 catches, I think, were dropped.
3, 4, 5, yes, 8.
8.
Yeah, at least more than 10 though, I definitely remember.
Boss, St. Lucia and Arniswale in the night time is not easy to take catches. I remember even the CPL, not Arniswale, St. Lucia, catches would be dropped.
Okay.
So,
low floodlights.
yes, so that is why possibly that is one of the reasons. Or maybe the law of averages are catching up against Australia that they become Pakistan, where they dropped catches just for fun. But Afghanistan caught well, which means that the Aussies were just not able to adjust properly. Afghanistan did it much better. Or they just can't seem to get going.
There was a difference, of course, in terms of chances created as well. Afghanistan bowled more wicket to wicket, which is why you look at the number of dismissals in the form of bolds and and just those nature of dismissals are far more.
Yep.
There was a sharp catch taken by Afghanistan as well. Noor Ahmed, he reminds me of the all-important catch of Glenn Maxwell that he plucked.
It was a couple day moment of beverages when he took that. It was. I mean, Maxwell, he had gotten the equation down to 47 of 38, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. Had he stayed on the crease for another 4 balls, 5 balls, I think the match could have gotten over.
And after his dismissal, 3 wickets fell for 8 runs.
Yes.
And that is where Australia lost the momentum. And this is why, if Australia's fielding collapses, their batting also tends to cluster collapse.
And if a certain Maxwell is scoring 59 of 41 balls, that goes on to show the wicket was too much sluggish or a very tacky wicket.
I mean, look at it.
But with him, I think form's also an issue. You don't expect him to just be batting at 200, 180 strike rate these days because he's just been a man out of form for more than 2
This was
months
his
now.
first 50 in 18 T20 innings.
And even though he had a strike rate of close to 144, still.
I think that was the highest. That was the highest in the entire game. Because look at Gurbaz and Zadran's partnership here.
Their strike rate was not more than 120.
It took them 16 overs to go past 100.
Yeah.
That is why.
The big catch here is that it took 16 overs for Australia to have a breakthrough.
And for a reason, see, I think 4 matches now that we've seen in St Lucia, in Arnasville now, all 4 won by the team batting first.
Yeah. And you go back even to the past. I remember one ODI, India versus West Indies in 1997. The first ODI that was played at Arnasville, our head coach Rahul Dravid got a 74. He was getting India close to a victory, but they didn't. They lost by 18 runs and they lost the series. Chasing has never been easy in Arnasville. Anytime you look at it, it's never been easy. Chasing has been kind of good in only one particular place that I can remember, St Lucia. St Lucia. St Lucia is, and that too in a day game, it's been easier.
Yeah.
Night games have been a bit dodgy, but in a day game, St Lucia is much better. And you're not playing at the venue, but Jamaica was also easy to chase. So
win bat first.
I think that is the way you have to go through.
In St Lucia as
in
well.
St Lucia, yes.
Call your teammate and told him that bat first.
Yeah, I mean, see, you want to, is India looking at it, they have covered all bases. For example, batting first, they managed to defend much better. They only chased in 2 games.
USA
and Ireland.
Ireland was like pretty
it was under 100.
Yeah.
Against USA also 105 or 110. I think it was in that range.
But still they struggled to get there.
They struggled. But then that pitch was absolutely, hellish if you have to look at it. So, if they want to chase, I think this Australia bowling attack might be the first real one that they encounter, the first real threat. But I think St Lucia is one of the flatter decks. I think it will suit their style also. And Virat, we know while chasing, that is.
So Stark comes back for Agar. I think
Absolutely.
that is one change you are clearly looking at.
Yeah.
Stark against those Indian batters, Cummins against those Indian batters.
Would you be tempted to have Josh English ahead of Matthew Wade?
But what wrong did Matthew Wade do? He has hardly got, but okay, he's gotten 2-3 games, he's not done well.
That's the point, and Josh English has a very good recent record against India, recent T20 record. He even has 100 against them.
But English, if you look at it, he didn't play in the entire of the T20, even ODI World Cup also, except in the semi-final.
Josh English replaced Alex Carey after the first couple of games, and he went on to have a very good tournament. In fact, his handy knock in the semi-final was one of the main reasons why Australia progressed to the final 2.
I think you may want to try, but I don't know why Australia are very conservative about Josh Inglis. I don't know why. He's a trump card for them, but I don't know why they want to.
And definitely their future keeper after this T20 World Cup.
So, looking at it, India's bowling and Australia's bowling, it's the clash of the 2 best bowling.
What gives you confidence as far as India concerned, batting or bowling?
Both. For one simple, I would say the bowling. Bowling gives me much more confidence. Bumrah is in top form, Kuldeep is in top form. And when they are in top form, most opponents can't get them away. I feel that the Australia middle order is low on confidence. Yes, Stoinis has bailed you out. But you look at even the top order, Warner and Head have fired only in 1 or 2 games.
I think their weakness is actually their captain as of now.
Mitchell Marsh, yes.
His batting.
Mitchell Marsh has a captain. He's been good until Afghanistan. He was good, but his batting has been woeful.
It's not been easy since the time that he left from the Delhi Capitals as well.
Yeah.
That injury,
Suffered. Bad time for injury. But again, see, even Rohit Sharma, the batter, has not set the stage on fire, but the intent is there.
Yes.
Intent is there in Rohit Sharma. He's like, there's that viral Lagan meme that's going on about Rohit Sharma. He bats like Baga. Because what happens is Baga only hits sixes.
Yeah.
But then sambal ke khelo, no, he'll go for it, he gets out. That's how Rohit Sharma seems to be playing at this point.
If you just look at the two teams man to man, I think the Australian opening pair also gives me the Indian opening pair vibes at times. Because both not firing as a unit, but individually there have been some performances here and there. You take confidence.
Yeah.
Because there have been times that a Warner has given you those quick fire runs and Head has had Travis Head has had a silent time. He, by the way, has been more silent and quiet than a David Warner.
Yes.
That is saying something given what we were seeing from the man just about a few weeks back here in India, where he made 300 look achievable.
Travis Sheikh,
exactly.
So yeah, see, somewhere it has to flatten out. The high gains will have to be flattened out and balanced by some low gains as well. So that's why Travis Head, but if it's one opponent that he would like to get his form back, it's always against India.
Exactly my point.
But, okay, if it depends. If Australia bat first, I don't think it is their advantage.
Australia need to actually bat second so as to improve their net run rate. Yes.
Actually, they need that. But then they face a problem that's a catch-22.
Because then they'll be facing India's strongest suit
yes.
so far in the World Cup.
What do they do? It is that conundrum and uncertainty which ensures that, okay, Australia don't have the confidence. And have a look at that press conference. I did the comments of Mitchell Marsh. He looked shot. I'm honestly telling you, he couldn't figure out what to say. He said the one question was posed about the power play. He believes he didn't lose it in the power play, but the stats just otherwise. And he was not surprised by the pitch. I think clearly Australia were. Some deliveries from Gulbuddin Naib that kept low, I think they were undone by it. Tim David, one coat of varnish. It could have missed, but then it just clipped and the umpire had given it out.
Well, I think Josh English can replace Tim David also.
Yeah, but then where are those English guys who are saying DRS, umpire's call should be all done. What about now? Will they speak up? I don't think so. So, Australia face a problem in an India team that has adapted better to the conditions. For one simple reason that they are playing in uniformity. Same conditions, same day game, you may encounter that kind of a thing. Unless India make a tactical blunder, then I think only Australia are coming back into the contest. And India are not playing feared cricket. They are not scared. Like what happened in Ahmedabad. You were scared. Expectations were so high. Here the expectations aren't high. You're almost through to the semis.
It's interesting because if you were India, you're getting exactly what you would have wanted coming into this match.
Yeah.
Firstly, it's a team that will not be well rested.
Yeah.
Number two, it's a team coming at the back of a shocking defeat.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Now, then thirdly, you get to face an Australia batting lineup which has not really set the stage on fire this time.
Yes.
It's got its own problems. So, when I look at all those three things put together, India would be happy right now.
Yeah.
They are well rested. They have winning momentum. They haven't lost a single match this tournament. And they're facing, by the looks of it, a depleted Australian side right now.
Yeah, see, you've got the red carpet, you've gotten the golden plates also, the chalices also. It's a grand welcome that no team would get. Yeah. And this is called Sone Pe Suhaga. This is the right situation. Come on. You've got a team that a team like Australia is never on the ropes. The last time I think of it happened was 1999 when they had to win everything. This isn't 1999 because it's happened at such a stage wherein, I think we are in danger of losing momentum. And you saw with Australia in 2022, one loss. They just couldn't make it. Same in 2016, but 2016 both India and Australia are facing that same thing because they had both lost to New Zealand. And that's why Mohali became a knockout for them. And India could have been knocked out, But Bangladesh chose that, okay, we will choke in the most epic manner. 2 of 3 balls, you lose by 1 run. Like what Nepal did. In that, India were almost on the brink. It took a special from Kohli.
Yeah.
That is why. But in the slugfest that's going to happen, you are going to have a blowback in the knockout stages, which India have to be very, very careful about.
Yeah.
Because what happened? You gave it all on the field in Mohali, but then what happened in Mumbai?
Due.
And also your fielding and bowling let you down. You
no
took
ball.
no balls. You took no balls. That's the thing. So that's why India do start as the favourites, and I do believe that they can eliminate them because they are high on confidence. The bowling unit might propel you to a win this time around. 11 batting and bowling propelled you. 7 also the bowling. It was the bowling that helped you, and you had some contributions from the top order. 13 was an all-round show. Here, your one basic facet is clicking, that's the bowling.
Bowling, yes.
I think this time it is.
Then you have a bowler also, no? Whose economy rate is well under 3.5.
Yeah. 80 dot balls, which is 14 maidens, close to 14 maidens in a T20I tournament. Imagine. Australia's batting is also very, very wobbly. If head and Warner fire, that's a different story. So, which batting unit is much more on shakier ground, I would say it's Australia's. India's is a bit more settled because your middle order has built you.
Yes.
Australia's middle order, barring Stoinis, has not built you.
And I think looking at the number of right-handers that Australia have in their top 7, Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja, they'll be looking there.
But Jadeja has struggled with the ball a bit. Akshar has been very good.
But it's been very good throughout, not just with ball.
If Stoinis, Maxwell and David decide that, okay, today we just will go crazy, then India are in trouble. But they have not gone crazy yet. Which is why this unpredictable concoction that is there ensures that India start as the favourites on all fronts. And you're getting a good batting deck at St Lucia. So that's why. I would say India do start as the favourites.
I will, when I listed those 3 points, again, everything indicates that India going as the favourites. But from how things look right now, it will be an upset if India lose, and I think maybe you're getting an upset.
Ouch, upset. But nowadays in this tournament there is no upset because with Afghanistan,
Australia beating India, I'm just saying how things stand. Looking at the factors that we just talked about, I won't be surprised if Australia make a strong comeback tomorrow.
Yes.
Both teams really clearly have visible deficiencies of their own. Can I say that India have had the most impressive tournament as they would have? No, the World Cup was far more impressive. If you ask me, then that run really made you
leading wicket taker, leading run scorer, second highest run scorer. You won all the games. You won most of the games. Yet you couldn't win the game.
I won't be surprised if Australia are to pull things back tomorrow.
But I expect Australia to make a comeback because I think Australia have been in these kind of situations previously also, and they have managed to make a very, very strong comeback. So I expect them to give India a big fight and probably maybe be on the right side of the final result. And but on a personal level, if I am the captain, I'm going to make a couple of changes. But one change that's going to be for sure. Obviously, Mitchell Starc comes in for Ashton Agar. You need his experience there, and I would bring in Josh English for Tim David.
So 2-on-1, right? 2 of you say Australia can make a comeback.
Yeah,
I say no, India can knock Australia out. And you are coming closer to realizing 29th June as a day of providence. Not in Guyana, but in Barbados in that sense. So, well, it's a split, not a split verdict. I think it's a rather cautious. I'm looking at my couple of analysts here. They are cautious after what's happened on November 19th. But I think...
And it's Australia. It's Australia, you know what to expect from them as well. Yes, the chips may be down for them right now, but they're Australia for a reason.
They are Australia for a reason, So...
Tomorrow game is the pressure game for Australia. That situation was not...
It's a pressure game for both.
It's a pressure game for both. But see, Shivam, World Cup final was also pressure. WTC final was also pressure. So they faced bigger pressures.
They have faced bigger
Exactly.
I agree, but that time they was like,
So here also, see,
India
World Cup
was-
final also, you lose, you go back, you don't get a medal for participation or for being the finalist.
But India was in more pressure than Australia.
Agreed. India definitely faced more pressure, but see, pressure would have been on Australia as well. You know, we don't realize this at times, but there were comparisons being made of this Australian side with the legendary side that extended their run from the 1999 to 2007, that particular decade as well of domination. You were making comparisons with that side. We may not realize it at times, but over there, they're playing for their own pride as well as a team. Do they not want to be called the best team, Australian team, to have played the sport? Imagine if they go ahead and complete the set or the Grand Slam, as Siddharth said, they will be crescent in history forever.
And they haven't completed a calendar slam, but they've completed the Grand Slam.
And it could very well be the last T20 World Cup for most of the Australian players here.
That trio, the famous trio as well.
Yep. That golden generation of pace bowlers. I mean, Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins.
David Warner definitely
Warner
is last
definitely,
T20
yeah.
World Cup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe for
Marcus Stoinis too, because he hasn't accepted a central
He
contract.
hasn't accepted. Yep.
So you never know. Could be for Glenn Maxwell.
Could
He's
be for
also
Wade.
34, 35. Yeah,
Could be for
definitely.
Wade.
So it's going to be a complete overhaul for Australia after this T20 World Cup.
Exactly. You'll get the likes of Jake Fraser McGurk and all. And that's the way. So we'll take a couple of comments that are there. And okay, what is the thing? Demon Slayer fan. No way Afghanistan would have had 118 opening partnership. Oz didn't play Stark today. If Mitchell Stark was playing today, openers would not have succeeded. Again, it's in hindsight. See, Stark was rested owing to the conditions. That's when Agar came, and you couldn't argue with an Agar because he did well. 1 for 15, he did pretty well. But Agar, the batsman, failed. Stark, the batter, could have succeeded, I would say. I think he's got a better technique at this point. So, again, in hindsight, what's happened is happened. We have to be very happy for Afghanistan that now, whatever they do, if they beat any of the top teams, the way we can think about it, it is not an upset. It isn't an upset.
As Wasim Jafar has said.
Of course. Can you take Vishal Panchal?
Vishal Panchal says that we need more technically sound batters like Smith. He's asking that question. In fact, especially on such pitches in the West Indies, do you think India will give a chance to Sanju and rest somebody?
I don't think India will, change their combination. It's going well for them. There is no point in changing any of the players or replacing any of them. Dubey was obviously a doubt, but he has silenced some doubters with that knock against Bangladesh. He was a little struggling a bit when he began, but those 3 sixes that really changed the game for India because it gave the platform for Hardik Pandya to flourish in the last 2-3 overs. So that's where I think India won't make any changes. But yeah, in case of the technically sound batters, I think it pretty much depends on the conditions. Wherein, let's just talk about the Nassau County pitch there. That's where it's basically a lottery pitch if you say. But for someone like a Smith, I think he would have been pretty handy there because he wouldn't have his 50 or maybe 40 or 45 odd balls might just have been crucial. But then Australia did not play a game there.
They didn't play a game. And I think nowadays, you can't get a technically sound batsman. In the West Indies, if you look at it, 50-50.
Shea Hope?
But Shea Hope is hitting most sizzling sixes for
that's
fun.
where he's upskilled himself, but his technical game is good. That's the point.
Yep. Dhanush is saying, GG becomes coach, he may drop RRVK after 2025 WTC. Never say never. We don't know what is going to happen in Indian cricket. They may very well play even 2027 World Cup. They may very well do that.
Express the desire.
Saurav Mukherjee has a comment that Australia were naive and overconfident at the same time. Such horrible fielding, definitely. Even in club games, it's unacceptable. Next T20 World Cup, then trophy coming home.
I wish this last line gets struck off. There is nothing called as a home in a trophy. England did it in the Euros. It was such a...
They're doing it all over again.
I know, it's such an embarrassment. But no, Saurav Mukherjee, I don't think Australia were naive or overconfident. I'll tell you why. Look at the venues where they have dropped most of the catches, and I think this is a theory which will hold a lot of water because St Lucia and Arnasvale, in the night time, it is very difficult to take catches because the floodlights are not at a certain height. You need to be at a certain height. You won't lose it in the lights then. Otherwise, Australia are one of the best fielding units.
Exactly.
For 2 venues where they would drop the most catches. They didn't drop that many catches in Barbados.
St Lucia and Anus Way.
Yeah, so that's why. But yeah, Saurav Mukherjee is an Indian fan. He would want them, yes, the cup will come home. But there is nothing called home. That's the beauty of sport. It will go to Rome if that is the case. Euro thing. KK, Chahal or Sanju instead of Jadeja? No KK, it's not happening. I think now the team combination is settled. Unless there is an injury, then
it's going to
and
be a
only
change.
then.
Yes.
Otherwise, there is no change. GGK, hope Oz and England won't make it to semi. India will beat West Indies and SA choke against Afghanistan. So in final, we'll beat Afghanistan. 6 days to go for us to be world champions. If I am sure GGK would have been a Brit in his previous janam.
He would have been?
He would have been a Brit. Born in the wrong country. He's been reading too much of the Sun or the Daily Mail there in the UK for this kind of hyperbole.
See, even if England have lost to Australia and South Africa in the group stage and the Super 8 respectively, don't count them out. I'm telling you, this is, as it's a very unpredictable format.
By the way, GGK,
anything can happen.
By the way, GGK, no team has ever won a T20 World Cup undefeated.
Yeah.
If India can do it, great. Now, looking at the situation, I think even a host country winning a T20 World Cup, I think is going out of the window.
Even a team that did not win a single game in the group stage still won the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, England 2010, yeah. So I think those two trends are gone. What is the chance that a third trend won't go away? So that's why. Because see, West Indies, South Africa, the equation is simple. If South Africa win and England win against USA, West Indies are out. Yeah. West Indies then will have to win England if they chase the total down, because they're going to chase today. If they win it with more than 1-2 overs to spare, and if South Africa lose to West Indies, South Africa are out.
Yes.
So that is the thing that
is. So Aajaz Mansoori has a question that will India be on top after losing to Australia? So it pretty much depends upon the margin of the loss.
Yeah.
If India lose to Australia by a very less margin, let's say around 5-10 runs or maybe a couple of wickets, then India's net run rate won't get impacted that much and they might still be able to qualify for the semis.
Yeah.
So it's basically dependent on the win or loss margin.
Yeah. The last question we'll take of Vikram Talreja. Rank Jaiswal, Dubey, Sanju just on batting capabilities / range of shots. Temperament regardless of position. Also compare Stubbs, Livingston, Tim David, Rutherford, Dubey just on batting skills. Your conclusion after this compared. Oh my
God.
That's a different dugout altogether. Vikram Talreja, please.
It's a very comprehensive analysis.
We can't give it to you in 1-2 minutes. If we give it in 1-2 minutes, we'll be accused of being lazy. So let's just look at the end of the tournament.
Rank them normally.
No, but look at the parameters that he's telling. Rank them as what?
Range of shots, temperament, batting capability.
Do I rank Dubey as just a batter or an all-rounder?
Because all of them that he's mentioned, Rutherford is meaning Shofin.
Yeah.
Tristan Stubbs and Livingston. Yeah, but
on current form, Stubbs obviously better.
It's difficult. Let's do it some other time. Yeah. When Dubey does well, and then we'll have the same question, but we'll remember Vikram Talreja at this point. Exactly 11 years ago today, India won Champions Trophy.
23rd June.
Yes, you did. Congratulations. Yes.
Okay, I think that's where we.
Yeah, Davis cricket, this is one of the saddest World Cups with no audience in the game, but actually the thing is, it's the best World Cup that's been there. We don't know what spin has been given to it, but I don't know. So yeah, I think we can call it quits and prepare for this particular game also, because
England USA.
Yep, the winner, if it's USA, if they beat England by 80 runs,
they'll still be mathematically alive.
And if South Africa beat the West Indies by 67 runs, then USA go through. You need a lot of coding and software. That's not probably happening. So let's see. Okay, so thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this edition of the Dugout. We'll be back with a lot more analysis. You can check out all the other videos that we have done. And from me, Siddharth Gulati and Harshad, it's bye-bye, good night, vanakkam, shabba khair, shubhratri. Or do we keep that for the England-USA game?
Yeah, we'll keep it for that.
We'll keep it for the England-USA game. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you, and subscribe please to Sports Today. Do subscribe.